Welcome back to another episode of the From Half Court Sports Talk Show with Darren and Rob. We're back again in the middle of the NFL season with some football discussions and conversations. So today we're going to be reacting to this past weekend's games from week 3 of the NFL season. So before we even get started, Darren, how was your football weekend? And how was your football weekend?
It's very interesting to be 3-0 in your fantasy league, but to be 0-3 would be the only 0-3 team in the NFL. It's the most not even bittersweet. The shit just sucks. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it.
So would you let your fantasy team lose so to make sure the Raiders win?
If we won a Super Bowl, I would, yeah, I would tank the season, 100%. Here's my buy-in money. We're going
Oh
to the
man.
Super Bowl.
Besides
Yes.
fantasy, how was your weekend?
Um, Raiders lost. It's just terrifying at this point. But besides that, it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. Pretty good. How about yours?
Well, my weekend was fine. I think I had fun. Ordered some pizza, watched the games, got drunk. Um, I know it wasn't the weekend, but Thursday we lost to the Browns. Anytime the Steelers lose to the Browns, I'll curl up in a little ball and cry because I'm not used to it, to say the least. And I work with a bunch of Browns fans that talk too much shit.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what it's like living in Ohio as a Steelers fan.
And that's one of the main reasons why I couldn't be a team. Be a fan of one of the teams in the AFC North out here because I couldn't do it. You go through too much in a week if you lose.
Facts. But getting on to other news, we're going to cover some of the games this week, but we're going to cover some of the big headlines. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, we're going to cover some teams, is the Eagles and the Miami Dolphins are both undefeated coming out of week 3. So as they're both undefeated teams, Darren, which team do you like the most after week 3?
I think Philly is obviously the better team. I like Miami. That's my honestly my favorite team to watch. If I had to choose out of these two, I I understand what Philly does, but Philly's kind of like I said going into the season, they have a really dominant offensive line, they have a really dominant defensive line, and with that, the corners of Bradbury and Slay, they're starting to really eat as well. Like they're already like elite corners, so they're starting to play better because the pass rush is getting there, and we saw what he did to Justin Jefferson in week 2, Darius Slay. That was incredible. But I think Philly's just a better team, and also got to give a shout out to Jalen Hurts. I think his growth has been very impressive. Him and we'll get to the other one, who I'll say is their growth is incredible in the past off season. Yes, Jalen Hurts is definitely playing himself into being Philly's long term quarterback, definitely. And AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, obviously they have the weapons. Yeah, I gotta go Philly.
So just to be devil's advocate, I'm gonna go with Miami. I really like what Miami's doing this year. Me and you were both really high on their head coach, Mike McDaniel's, coming into the season.
Yes.
But actually seeing them play week to week now, have the ability to have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the field together, I think is just kind of unfair, to say the least, at this point. For what I remember, I believe uh, Tyreek Hill had a pretty quiet game relatively, and Jalen
Hmm.
Waddle was the one who popped off this week. So just to have that as your secondary option, I believe is very dangerous. Now I know they won the game. I still don't know if they're better than the Bills, but I think it's a big win for them to come out with a big divisional rivalry game to win.
Yeah, most definitely. It was definitely probably one of those games that everybody was looking to watching throughout the week, and I gotta say it didn't disappoint. But when you look at the overall, you're kind of I kind of question what happened in this game because it really don't look like Miami should have won this game. It really looked like the Bills should have won this. But I think that's what's most impressive about Miami compared to Philly is they're very resilient and they've been in close games and they're pulling out W's. So I think that's the most impressive thing about Miami at this point, to be honest with you. When they're with their back against the line, they're winning the game. What Tua did last week, the 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. That was impressive comeback. This was an impressive comeback. It's one of those. So I think it's very interesting how this game went. Miami, or I think the Bills. This is a different game if the secondary of the Buffalo Bills is not knocked up, and people aren't missing time. But I still think the Bills are probably the better team, especially as the year progresses. They're going to get those pieces back. But I definitely spare the frustration of their offensive coordinator and how that game ended. Can we show a highlight of that by chance?
You talking about the punt?
The offensive coordinator at the end of the game.
Oh, got you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can get that for you real quick.
I definitely felt his frustration because it's one of those where you have the game. They put up more yards. They controlled the ball more. They controlled, and it's just one of those. How do you lose to them? And I felt his frustration because you're this close to winning the game, and if anybody, I don't know if we can show the play. It's okay if we can't. The receiver who caught the ball should have gotten out of bounds.
Yard line.
It just didn't happen though. It just didn't happen. I don't know how else to explain it. With no timeouts left, should have got out of bounds, and I don't know if he was just tackled in bounds, like he just made a play in bounds or what. But yeah, if we can show this, it'd be great. I don't know if we can.
Yard line. Josh takes, looks, pressured, gets away from it, fires a short one. This one caught by Isaiah McKenzie trying to head out of bounds, and McKenzie is brought down. You got to get up and spike immediately. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. They're running out of time.
Even
1
if it's
second.
a
That's
long
it.
field
Ball
goal,
game.
you gotta get out of bounds.
Game is over.
What'd you say?
Even if it's a long field goal, you just gotta get out of bounds.
Facts.
And the Bills suffer their first loss of 2022. McKenzie could not get out of bounds to stop it, and the Bills were slow to get back to the line of scrimmage. And this one ends with a Buffalo loss.
Cutting up field right here was probably
And the
worst
Dolphins
thing.
move into
You cut
first
up field
place
at
in the
the last
AFC East.
and then get out of bounds. Like the very last second. So you're riding you gotta be at least riding the sideline. And yeah, it was terrible, terrible way. If we can show the offensive coordinator real quick.
Oh, they're about to show it.
And the Bills their first loss. And the Dolphins move into first place in the AFC East. Bills' first loss here in 8 games.
I think this was managing anger.
Yes, they were shorthanded, but they had a chance down the stretch and still.
That's a mood. That's I think that's easily going to be the meme of the year so far. So that's definitely a mood.
That's how I feel about the Raiders. I'm gonna be honest with you. But I completely understand his frustration at that point. It's definitely a game that you should have won and you had in your hands. And first divisional game, you don't want to go out like that. It's okay though. Shit, no, it's not okay because this league is real. I'm gonna be 100%. Miami's real, so you gotta win those games. But I definitely feel his frustration. What else you got to say about this stuff?
The only other thing I wanted to talk about was that Miami Dolphins punt, where the dude literally kicked the ball like straight up in the air.
I did not see this play.
I'll show it to you real quick.
Um,
It's one of the crazy. I've never seen anything like that before, honestly.
I guess the main difference when we're talking about Philadelphia and Miami, to me, is that Miami's pulling out games in the last second. Philly's being just dominant over squads, like really good teams too, and they're just stomping them. I think that's the main thing.
All right, so let me show you guys this real fast.
Then it gives you some room to kick. They're out of timeouts, but in a field goal beats you. I don't know. This is risky.
Oh wow, that was terrible. Yeah, yeah. He might lose the job tomorrow.
Is that it? That's not his fault. His
Somebody might lose
dude's
their
butt
job.
was just like right there. I think homie probably might have backed up a little too far.
Yeah.
So we had the butt fumble. Now they call that the butt punt.
Butt punt, butt punt, butt punt. That's funny. But yeah, I think Philadelphia is the more dominant squad, while I think Miami's being able to be really resilient and pull out games in the last second. But they're a dominant team. Like you cannot. Their safeties, whatever safety you have to be over top of them.
All right, now let's talk about another game in the weekend. Another big game this weekend was the Colts and the Chiefs. The Colts got a big win against the Chiefs in this game. What were your thoughts on this game?
I didn't get to see all the highlights yet. I was really stuck on the Raiders game. I was very interested in what happened because when I came out and I saw the Colts won, everybody was like, "Yeah, you must have been really focusing on your game," because yeah, they were struggling, and I wasn't really sure how they were struggling. Did you see it at all?
I watched it through Red Zone, so I didn't watch it play by play.
Mm-hmm.
But two things. I feel like Matt Ryan wasn't playing well through these first 2 weeks, and I feel like it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I really
Mm-hmm.
thought he just kind of got him back into the game. If we look at the stats here, Michael Pittman had a pretty good game, and they had a pretty good game overall. But the play that I did see live was the play that lost him the game. Patrick Mahomes tried to fit this ball into Juju on this very, very tight window. And the corner, I forget which corner it was, made a really good play on the ball, popped it up in the air, and they got an interception and won the game. I think you can say this is an overreaction because it's only one loss. I think we're seeing in progress why Tariq Hill was so important to that team. What losing a number one receiver to your offense really does to a team, even if you have a generational talent as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
You're
think that's.
because it's
I
not
think.
like Juju and them had a bad game. It was just like this offense just isn't the same. It's not as scary. The Chiefs were feared when they had Tariq Hill and Patrick Mahomes together. I wouldn't be scared of them if I was like defensive coordinators like I would be before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
Colts
think
defense
they're.
just played really solid.
I think the difference is they pivoted their team to try to run the ball more. If you can scroll up, you see rushing. Patrick Mahomes carried it for 4 times. Jared McKinnon 7 times. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, good God, I don't know what happened to him in this game, but 7 carries as well. Isaiah Pacheco 3 carries. Yeah, so they're running the ball, but 23 times. Yeah, they're running the ball a little bit more. It might not be effective because 23 for 58, average of 2.5 ain't great. Um, the game plan might not have been great going into this game. I don't like it. They're trying to be more of a balanced team though. I think that one play score over the top is really rare. They're going to be rare in their offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're really trying to run the ball more. And yeah, I can't really be mad at it as a Raiders fan. But it's surprising that the Colts beat them out of all teams. I thought they looked very disappointing in the first 2 weeks.
All right. The next game I wanted to talk about was the Lions and the Vikings game. Were you
Mhm.
able to watch this game?
I caught the highlights. I think I was in the middle of still watching the highlights. But yes, I caught the last couple plays live, I believe.
Okay. So once again, I watched mostly everything through Red Zone this week. The biggest thing I noticed in this game is Detroit has a football team, man. And last year, it seemed like everything was close, and they
Yeah.
just couldn't get over that hump. This year, they can win football games. The biggest thing to their offense right now is Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had a really good game yesterday before he got hurt. I forget
He got
what he
hurt.
was. Yeah, I forget if it was concussion or what it was, but he got hurt in the middle of the game, and he had to leave. So first of all, hopefully he's okay. But he's been dominant in their offense this year. He's coming out like a true number one receiver, which is exactly what they needed. Somebody to jump off the page,
Hmm.
jump off the field at you, and he's been really dominant. I think they kept DeAndre Swift mostly intact most of the game until he got hurt. Then Jamal Williams started getting going a little crazy on him. He had a couple good runs in the game, and their corners played really well this game. Um, I think the corners were super solid. What's his name?
Okuda.
Jeff Okuda played Justin Jefferson really well. These defenses are starting to scheme for Justin Jefferson to try to take him way out of the offense. So
Hmm.
you're really seeing you didn't see it in the Philly game, but you really saw it in this game. Kirk starts try to spread the ball around a little bit more to his other receivers, Adam Thielen, Irv Smith, and their other KJ Osborne and their other receivers. But the problem is maybe it's just because they're not throwing him the ball as much, or they're not calling plays for him as much. Adam Thielen doesn't look like the Adam Thielen of the past 4, 5, 6 years.
Everybody's been saying that.
He doesn't look the same.
Just injuries, man. Just injuries. But I think everybody's known that day was coming when they got Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne. Like he's been there for a while. He's been there before Stephon Diggs. So he's been there for a while. He's been putting up numbers for a while. It's just you can't you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, especially with the injuries he's been coming back from.
Definitely. But even though Detroit lost his football game, they still look like in a really good place to start winning a lot of football games this year. At least being competitive.
They were competitive last year. That it got to translate to wins. They're 1-2 though, so I think it is translating a little bit. So that's a heads up anyway, if you ask me.
I was about to say all these games are close for the most part.
Yeah, they they don't lose just right out, like just flat out. They're going to always make it an entertaining game somehow. Um, we got to talk about this Ravens Patriots though.
Yep, that's up next. Did you watch this game? Were you able to watch this game?
Yes, I actually had this on simultaneously as the Raiders game was on,
Okay.
and I got a lot to say about this game. You should probably go first.
All right. So first things first, Lamar Jackson is the MVP of this league as of week 3.
Big facts.
This dude, I'm gonna use a quote my dad used during it'll been week 2. This dude is looking like he's back at Louisville. He's looking like he was still in college. The way
Yeah,
he's moving around.
yeah.
My biggest thing about like Lamar Jackson through 3 weeks is the biggest knock on Lamar, consensually between casual fans and pretty hardcore fans, specifically on Twitter, was Lamar is not a good passer. Not
Dumbasses.
only does he look improved as a passer, IQ wise, and accuracy, and throwing more deep balls, he still has his ability to make plays with his feet. I I think the way this season is trending, we're going to say Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback in the league again by the end of the season. Um, Now saying all that, the next big criticism was Lamar in the playoffs. Is this going to translate to playoffs? I think it's still very early in the season, but as of right now, Lamar in this Ravens offense looks like the best in the league. If they can stay healthy and he can keep slanging this thing like he is, this team looks great. Now, I will say this though. This Baltimore defense doesn't look like the Baltimore defense that we're used to. And that's the only thing I'm worried about. Their corners are getting older. They have a young bull in the at safety, Kyle Hamilton. I don't know exactly what their pass rush numbers are off the top of my head, but I don't think they're good. They had 3 sacks yesterday. So this defense doesn't look that good. Is basically my point at the end of the day. So that the defense has to get their shit together, because there's no way in hell Baltimore shouldn't be undefeated right now and be one of the favorites in this league to win the AFC. The way they're playing, they look impeccable.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
100% agree with pretty much everything you said. Kyle Hamilton did make a big play yesterday, a big fumble, and that kind of won them the game. I believe. I think it won them the game, or maybe it was just a big play. Yeah, Lamar's the MVP. There's no question in my mind. There's nobody like the fact that their defense is playing not great and he's winning them in games and keeping them in it. Rashad Bateman looks great. And Mark Andrews looks like great tight end. I will even say J.K. Dobbins came back and produced honestly better than what I thought he would do. His first game back. So I think he's going to be nice once he actually gets get the full carries and birth of the load. I would say. He's going to be a real threat in this system. Um, yeah, Lamar's is different. Lamar's been different. I don't know why people always say he's not a great thrower. I understood before he wasn't making these deep passes the way he was. He was making good passes deep, but not like these bombs that he's making now. Um, but yeah, that statement that your dad might have made is probably the best one. That he looks like he's back in Louisville, because this looks amazing. Uh, Ultimately though, Baltimore needs to get their defense working right, because it's not gonna. They need to be more dominant. These games shouldn't be as close. Um, on the other side of this though, I will say the Patriots showed me some things. Um, if you just scroll back up real quick, um, I think the Patriots still have a good run game. Obviously, 3 touchdowns running the ball. Um, the 2 point conversion that should have been, but wasn't, when the running back's knee was down, but he was trying to pitch it back to Mac Jones, and
Oh
Mac
yeah, that
Jones
was
ran it
crazy.
in. I was like, "Yo, Mac Jones is really that guy," and I like Mac Jones more than other people, I guess. Um, I
I
think
think
it's
it's.
very
Go ahead.
I think it's very interesting that their number one receiver, who is their number one? Jacoby Myers. He went down. Devontae Parker just steps in and gets the full work of it. He caught half of his balls for 156. No touchdowns, but that's still a good game for him. Yeah, I think Mac Jones is still that guy, but I think Bill Belichick is starting to get really. I think Bill Belichick knows he can't do nothing with Lamar, and from a GOAT defensive coordinator, that is impressive.
Um, the biggest thing I would take from that is I forget when they asked him. It might have been like Thursday or Friday before the game during his press conference. They were asking him about Lamar, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, he's just one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's MVP caliber all the time," and that's all you could say about him. Now he said a little bit more. He went on like a little 5 minute talking about Lamar, but he was basically saying like the tools he has, the intangibles that he has. You can't game plan for,
You can't.
because if you do everything perfectly, he can still go off for like 20 yards down the field,
He's
and
just different,
that's unfair.
man.
um
It is. Though. It is.
all right, so the next game I wanted to talk to you about, there's one more game I wanted to talk to you about actually, was the quote unquote matchup game of the week. Definitely the headlines had all over it. The Packers versus Buccaneers game.
Hmm.
What do you think of this game? And yeah, what do you think of this game?
Uh, Obviously Tom Brady didn't have his weapons. I think he still put up really amazing numbers for him not to have his weapons. Obviously, you want him to have more touchdowns, but I think it was a very good game. Very, very, very good game. Um, People stepped in and produced that was at home like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. So that's impressive. Um, yeah, I just think Tom Brady's still that guy. He just didn't have the weapons. Aaron Rodgers, I think, should have probably put up more points personally. Uh, but I understand the Bucks got a real defense, but this is not something that he can keep playing with. He cannot keep going into the NFC playoffs and losing in the first round. This is the type of game that you want him to show that he's not going to lose in the first round. Winning 14-12 is not, to me, is not showing that. Even if you are trying to still adjust from not having Devontae Adams and Christian Watson's not there. But if you ask me, your main weapons are there: Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb. Uh, Romeo Dobbs just played a decent role in, like a really good role in this game, obviously. Um, but yeah, I just think he needs to show that he's more dominant. And with the defense that they had, this is one of those that you should win by 21. You should win, not by, but you should score at least 21 points to 24.
I agree. This was a very low scoring game for the star-studded matchup. But like we said, Tom Brady's missing two of his key weapons on offense. The Packers are still getting adjusted to Devontae Adams not being there, and it's you can really see it's taking a toll on them. I feel the same way about the Packers offense as I did the Chiefs offense. You're losing your number one receiver, arguably the best receiver in the league, out of your offense, and we're seeing the effects of it. Um, you can win with above average slash good receivers in the NFL, but it's just going to be way harder. And this is why. And this is why you see like more teams overall overpaying, paying a ton of money to receivers because of things like this. And we had the whole thing where these running backs are feel like they're getting used up early and having shorter careers. So this is why you just have to invest in your receivers, and you might have to cough up more money than you would want to keep your superstar receiver. Now, on the Packers side of it, obviously it's a little different. I heard that they offered the exact same money as the Raiders did, but he just wanted to go to the Raiders. So it's just a tough thing that you have to settle into. But they have to. They have to, if they want to do anything in the playoffs, figure out who's going to be the number one receiver and feed him the ball.
It's a very interesting team. I like the AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, but
They
it
didn't
was
have a great
definitely
game last night either.
it, it was a grudge match because they had linebackers, bro. They have linebackers to go up against. Like that is a linebacker core that is probably it's the best linebacker core we've seen in a while.
Um,
Like,
I think that's funny. I meant to tell you too. While we're speaking about their linebacking core, I saw this
mhm,
video of I think his name is it was Devin White from the
yeah,
Buccaneers. They just beat Jameis Winston and the Saints, and he said in the interview, yeah, man, we all know what Jameis did last year with those 30 picks. We just had to go prove something to him real quick." I was like, "Damn, dog, you didn't have to throw Jameis under the bus like that." But that tells me, bro, that was the team that Tom Brady walked into
it was a
was the
great team.
exact same, damn near the exact same team that Jameis
Yeah,
had.
yeah.
And you
Rob
went from a
Gronkowski and
gunslinger to a game manager, but a gunslinger that's average to a game manager that's elite. And it made all the difference in the world.
um, yeah. I mean, yeah. Ultimately, yeah. And well, Rob Gronkowski being there definitely helped, and um, Antonio Brown definitely helped as well. But I will say you are right in your estimation in saying Tom Brady picked the right team to go to. That that team had a defense from the day one and that team had an offense from day one. And if you watch those games when Jameis Winston was there, he was protected pretty well, just threw picks. I'm sorry to say it, but he just threw picks. And he's doing the same thing for the Saints right now. A la the Panthers doing what they did to them.
I have two more things before we wrap up. I remember you telling me that Tom Brady was on the shop before the season started, and he
Yeah,
was talking
or a
crazy.
couple seasons ago. Yeah.
And he said something that when he was shopping around teams, he was surprised that certain teams kept they were going to keep their quarterback and not try to get him.
Yeah.
I remember you told me you thought they were speaking about Derek Carr.
You're keeping this motherfucker?
Yeah. So apparently, Ryan Fitzpatrick came out and he was saying that he was talking about him. Then Ryan Fitzpatrick was talking about how him and how he doesn't like Tom Brady because they were in the same division at one point, and apparently, the Patriots were killing the Dolphins every year. So apparently, one time, finally, the Dolphins did beat the Patriots, and Ryan Fitzpatrick went over there to shake his hand, but apparently he just walked off the field. And he said him and Tom Brady have had beef ever since then. But they're saying that they were talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick with what team? The Dolphins?
I guess, yeah.
When Tua was already there?
No. He said when yeah, I guess it had to be the Dolphins.
Tua would have been there. That's interesting. I thought he was talking about the Raiders.
Allegedly, he was talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick, or whatever team he was on. But they had beef when he was with the Dolphins. That's what I was trying to say. When Ryan Fitzpatrick was with the Dolphins.
It's possible. I guess it's possible.
I just thought that was interesting. And my last thing is big news of the day. I'm really happy about this. There's going to be the NFL has canceled the Pro Bowl, and there's going to be no more Pro Bowl for the upcoming years, and it's just going to be like skill challenges and stuff like that.
Hey, we winning.
I think that's genius. I think ever since I started watching football, I've complained about the NFL Pro Bowl. There's absolutely no reason for it. I think we should still have the award for like being named to the Pro Bowl team as an award, so we can put it on your Hall of Fame podium and stuff like that, and just for keeping tabs on legacies and measuring players' legacies and things like that. Especially in the media format when we're comparing players, I think it's really important that we have some type of all-star Pro Bowl, who was the best players of that season in that position. But to actually have a game, there's absolutely no point of having it. None. There's no point of playing hard, and watching half-ass football is very boring.
Yeah.
The only other thing I could ask for is them to play flag football, which might look really silly for grown men to do, or play 7-on-7 competition or something like that. That might be fun. But yeah, I'm just happy in general that they canceled the Pro Bowl.
Maybe get them to coach like the high school football players. I don't know. Like, because I know the high school football players have like their own type of Pro Bowl. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, maybe get them to coach their positions. That'd be kind of dope. I don't know.
The Senior Bowl.
Yeah, something like that. Miles Garrett was taken to the hospital. I'm gonna find out more about that. Yeah, I'm gonna find out more about that. We don't gotta talk about it right now. But that's I'm gonna find out more about that. Hopefully it's okay.
Hopefully he is okay. Hopefully it's not anything life threatening. It says it's involved in a car accident.
How can they get footage so quick?
Bro, TMZ's is goated at this point. I think at this point they just find the video, whoever has the video, pay them X amount of money, let's say $500, so they can use it and keep it pushing.
Such a rapid process. He'll be all right. I'm trusting he'll be all right. Maybe not maybe not playing this week, but he'll be all right. Um, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. So I got two more questions for you before we get out of here. And we could just make it real short, real quick, and we can get up out of here. Biggest disappointment of the season so far, biggest surprise, I would say.
Honestly, Darren, I gotta say it has to be your Raiders. I do, bro. I thought you were overhyping them a little bit at the beginning of the season too, but at the end of the day, I thought at least they're going to be able to score a ton of points. I'm just worried about their defense. And through 3
Facts.
games,
We
I
have
guess you guys are
not
putting up
scored.
points, but you're not putting
No,
up
we
points like
weren't.
I thought you would be. I thought it
We
was going
have
to
not
be.
broken 25 points.
I thought you guys would be putting up a lot of points. And the most disappointing one for me was the Cardinals game. I was like, there ain't no way in hell these niggas are
No
about
way.
to lose to the Cardinals. The
No
Cardinals,
way.
that offense looks atrocious.
Terrible.
Like,
We lost to Kyler. We didn't even lose to the Cardinals. That's
yeah.
what pisses me off. And then whoever made the play on Hunter Renfro.
What's the Cardinals head coach's name? It's not Kyle Shanahan. What's his name?
Cliff Kingsbury.
I'm starting to question this spread offense shit, man. Because if you need I understand D Hop helps your offense out, but the fact that your offense is like unrecognizable is just disgusting to me.
Okay. Yep.
Who's yours?
Yep. Obviously, one of them is my Raiders. You took the words out of my mouth. To play devil's advocate, I don't even know who else I would choose. Yeah, 100% my Raiders. Yeah, for all the words that you said, I didn't. Damn, Chicago doing anything right now. Yeah, facts. I had the Saints doing better, but it is what it is. But it's definitely my Raiders. I'm definitely disappointed in my Raiders. Biggest surprise though, you can go first for this one too.
Surprise. I kind of want to go to Jacksonville. I'm gonna say Jacksonville, and this is because Trevor Lawrence looks like
Day and night. You can say it's day and night. From last year to this
I don't
year,
think
day and night.
I don't think he looked bad last year. I think the team
offense.
looked bad last year.
Yeah.
Trevor looks like the quarterback they promised he would be. He looks confident. He has all the tools. I would say this. If you had to argue who's a better quarterback right now, Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence, I think they have all the same tools as quarterbacks. I think the difference is Joe Burrow is just on a better football team right now.
They're losing.
Well, coming off the Super Bowl and all that shit. That's what I meant.
Gotcha. Yeah, Trevor's a beast. I definitely see why you choose them. Doug Peterson turned that team around quicker than Urban
Immediately.
Meyer was going to take. I can definitely tell you that. My biggest surprise though, can we go back to all the teams real quick? Honestly, it's probably stay in my division. It's probably the Broncos.
Broncos?
I thought the Broncos offense was going to be a lot better. They're not. They're not. They're not. They're
Yeah, they
not
look
better at
horrible.
all. Yeah, they look bad. Like they look bad. Their defense is winning them these games, and that's not my disappointment. It's just surprise to me because I really thought they would be better than what I'm seeing. They're not. Their record doesn't reflect how good they are off, how bad they are offensively, and how great they are defense. That's what I would say.
One more. I'm just gonna throw it in here. The Bengals don't look I know they won yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm nervous for them, man. They got a lot of hype coming off last year's Super Bowl, where they're literally a drive away, a completion away from winning. And we all know you have a target on your back when you win the Super Bowl because you're the champions, you're considered the best in the league. I don't think they expected to have a target on their back like they do.
That's funny.
Um,
That's funny.
But some people might also say, like you were saying earlier about the Raiders and the not playing during the preseason. I don't think Joe Burrow took a snap during preseason. So and he just and they might just need to like get into the motions, get into the season, and everything's gonna start clicking, get a little bit smoother, figure out their kinks and things like that. So it might be too early to jump on them and say they're dog shit. But it feels like why I thought they weren't going to be good last year, it was because of their offensive line. But I felt like they were able to cover it up by big plays by Jamar Chase and things like that. They don't look like they can cover it up this year. They look like they're getting demolished.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing hindering them right now.
I really want to go back and watch the tape again, but I think Jamar Chase made Sauce Gardner look nice. Like, because Jamar Chase's numbers wasn't crazy yesterday.
No, Sauce Gardner looked like a dog yesterday.
Yeah, he made Sauce Gardner look nice. And I love Sauce Gardner. I love that fucking pick. I love that pick. Speaking of, I still gotta watch this Derek Stingley. I keep forgetting I gotta watch that.
You should watch both of them. There's this I don't know his name, but there's a guy on YouTube. He took all the one-on-ones between Sauce Gardner, the other Jets corner, on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
They locked homie up. He was white ripped him stride for stride all game.
Sauce is a dog, bro. He's a hell of a cover corner, bro. He's a hell of a cover corner.
Speaking of Derek Stingley, he's been playing dominant as fuck too, man.
I gotta check out the tape. I gotta check out the tape. I keep forgetting to check out the.
I'm definitely gonna show it to you. But
For sure. We can wrap this up soon.
All right, bet. Well, thank you guys again for watching.
Wait. Before we wrap up, I don't know if many people are gonna see this before, but who you got tonight, Monday Night Football?
Oh, I got the Giants. Easy dub.
I'm taking the Giants as well.
Bet. Well, thank you guys again for watching another episode of the From Half Court Sports Talk Show with Darren and Rob. Let us know in the comment section below what were your biggest surprises and disappointments through week 3 this season. Let us know. If you let us know, we'll read them off next week for you. All right, so we'll see you guys next time. This was episode 59. Peace out.
Peace. Y'all stay up.